Good, y'all? It's Classic and Main. Today I'll be doing my fights to make video after yesterday's card, UFC Fight Night. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Sean Strickland. Let's get into it. So starting off with the main event, Sean Strickland. I picked him to win, but he won even better than I thought he would. Honestly, I mean, he walked in there, was dominating Fluffy on the feet, or at least outstriking him pretty convincingly, and then lands a nasty knee up the middle. So for who I think he should fight next. So the middleweight division is kind of weird right now. It depends what happens to Hamza. If Hamza stays down there and defends his belt against Nasruddin, then different fights could happen. But if Hamza moves up, then Strickland could be in the vacant title picture too. But no matter what happens, I think this is what should happen. I don't think Strickland should get a title shot on a one-fight win streak. It was a good performance, but it wasn't that good to the point where he should get. He's already had so many chances at the belt that I think that he shouldn't get another one. So at least not until he goes on like a 3-fight win streak or a 2-fight win streak at least. So for Sean Strickland, I think what should be the next fight for him with how the rankings are. I think he should fight the winner of Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. I mean, this sets up a really fun matchup. Is either if Izzy wins, which I think he will, then I think Izzy versus Sean 2 is an awesome fight. Like I think Sean would win that. But I also think that's winnable for Izzy too if he fights with the right game plan. And then Joe Pyfer versus Sean Strickland. They could have like a racist off or something. I mean, is that crazy to say? Like, yeah, they could have like a racist off or something. Yeah, either way, whoever wins this fight doesn't really matter. Both will be bangers. So I say the UFC should make this next. All right, then for our co-main event, we had, or I mean, not our co-main event. My bad, Fluffy. So I think for Fluffy, he's coming off this loss against Strickland. Got TKO'd, got exposed a little bit. I think he should fight the winner of Kyle Brahalo versus Rainier de Ritter going down on March 7th. So what, 2 weeks from now? I think so. Whoever wins this fight will probably be around that number 7, number 6 spot in the rankings. So I think, and both of these guys could win. So if Kyle wins, then Kyle versus Fluffy, fun matchup. Gets Kyle back in the top 5 if he beats him. Gets Fluffy a bounce back win if he beats Kyle, which I think he definitely could, as Kyle's not that good. Then if Rainier de Ritter wins this fight, then Fluffy might be cooked because he don't take body shots too well. So no matter what, whoever wins this fight, I think should get a top 5 opponent. So Fluffy versus the winner of this. Then for our co-main event, we had Uros Medic absolutely flatlining Jeff Neal. Like poor man Jeff Neal was seeing stars. Uros Medic is legit. He's number 12 ranked now. It's time to get him some big fights, man. And I think for his next fight, I think he should fight Leon Edwards. Honestly. Sorry, mumble mouth. Sorry, mumble mouth, Rocky Edwards. You're not getting to fight Gilbert Burns, buddy. You're fighting Uros Medic. Yeah, so, hey, we're sending Leon out to Serbia to get slimed. Oh, poor Leon, man. Yeah, genuinely, I see the UFC. You know what? Uros Medic put on a great post-fight speech, and honestly, I think he should get this fight. Like, he clearly has momentum. Leon definitely doesn't. I genuinely don't know who Leon beats in the top 15 besides like Gilbert Burns. But so I say let's just continue this Leon Edwards downfall. I mean, I'm enjoying it already, so let's just continue it. Give me Uros Medic versus Leon Edwards. So for our featured fight of the night, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah. Or no, I mean for Jeff Neal. So Jeff Neal, took a bad loss, got slimed out. Probably gonna be unranked or close to it. So I think for him, honestly, I think he should fight the winner of Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Like, I think this would be a good bounce back fight and just a fun fight for Jeff Neal. Because let's be real, Jeff Neal knows he's not getting a belt at this point of his career. He knows his career is kind of cooked by this point. So I say just make a banger between either him or either Kevin Holland or Randy Brown. Like I think that'd be a lot of fun. Jeff Neal versus Kevin Holland, a fight that was originally supposed to be booked here, would have been a really fun fight. So Holland wins this, which I think he definitely can. Then Jeff Neal versus Kevin Holland, fun Texas style fight. And then if Randy Brown wins this, then really fun boxing matchup because Randy Brown's a pretty crafty boxer, So I say we do Jeff Neal versus the winner of Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Then next up we got Melchizedek Costa getting this nasty spinning back kick TKO over Dan Ige. So for Melky Costa, I think we should reward him with a decently big fight, or not big fight, but a step up in the rankings. It'll be number 14. So I don't think he should get a top 10 opponent yet, but I think a good ranked opponent for him. Test the skills a little bit. Crafty bet. I say give him a Patricio Pitbull, because Melky Costa didn't get beating Dan Ige ain't the craziest thing, but finishing him is pretty crazy. So I think he should get a step up. And then Patricio Pitbull, his last performance. Well, Patricio Pitbull is also coming off a win over Dan Ige, so it kind of makes sense. Patricio Pitbull beat him by decision, so he doesn't get to fight up. Melky Costa beat him by knockout, so he gets to fight up. Makes sense. Now, if Melky Costa would absolutely wipe the floor with Pitbull, but I think this fight would be pretty entertaining. So I say make Melky Costa versus Pitbull. Then for Dan Ige, man, this guy got slimed. So we're gonna get him slimed again. You know what? My boy Jose Delgado, he's fighting Andre Philly. He's gonna slime Andre Philly. He's gonna be back in that rankings talk, one of the better prospects at featherweight. You know, I love my boy Jose Delgado. Real ones know he got robbed against Nathaniel Wood, so I think we should do him against Dan Ige, honestly. You know, do the crafty vet Ige, give Delgado, test him a bit, give him a step up. So, because I don't think Dan Ige will be ranked on Tuesday. So, yeah, I say make this fight for Dan Ige. Then next up, we had Sergey Spivak picking up the win over Once Delija, and just truthfully heavyweight slop if I ever seen it. So for Sergey Spivak, you know, it's heavyweight. You win one fight, you fight up in the rankings. So I think he'll be number 7 ranked. I'd say he fights Rizvan Kuniev. You know, both of them not coming off the most impressive performances in the world. So I say we just do, you know, the most fat blob off in the history of the heavyweight division. Whoever wins this, I'd probably lean Kuniev. I think he's a little more skilled, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spivak somehow won this fight by outboxing him like he did in Delija. So I say make Spivak versus Rizvan Kuniev next. That's a fun fight. Well, not a fun fight. It's just a heavyweight slop that I have to make. Then for Ante Delija, yeah, not a pretty performance from the guy. The guy got outstruck by Sergey Spivak and gassed after like 2 minutes. Definitely not picking you again, buddy. Or actually, I would pick him to win this fight, but I think Ante Delija versus Talison Texera. You know, it's heavyweight. Talison Texera got a pretty mediocre win over Taito Iwasa, but that's good enough to fight in the rankings. So I say do Delija versus Talison Texera. Whoever wins this can get Sergey Spivak again. I'm not joking. So I say do this fight. This is a fun one. You know, tall, lengthy striker in Texera, and then super explosive, you know, athletic kind of heavyweight in Ante Delija. So I say make this fight. This would be fun. And then for Jacoby Smith, you know, dude just, you know, this was hard to watch. Man, the way he did to Josiah Harrell, like, I knew he was going to do him dirty, but man, wow. Just ground and pound TKO'd him to the heavens. Thankfully, Harrell's alright, but for Jacoby Smith, yeah, this guy's legit, man. I really liked how he showed, you know, his improved striking was a lot more patient, let the wrestling come to him, and then just reverses him, and boom, boom, boom. So yeah, I think for Jacoby Smith, he should be. I think we need to give him his first step up in the UFC. So I'm gonna make a pretty simple to make matchup here. I say we just rebook him against Suk Hung Ko. For those of you who don't know, Jacoby Smith was actually originally supposed to fight Suk Hung Ko yesterday, but he pulled out, so they got Josiah Harrell instead. So I say, you know, we wait till Ko's healthy and run this back. So, since Ko's on a decent win streak in the division himself, like he's a really good grappler, has some good striking. I originally was honestly when this fight was announced last couple weeks, I thought Ko was gonna win, but now seeing the improvements Jacoby Smith's made in his striking and is being a lot more patient, not just gassing out, I think Jacoby Smith would actually knock out Suk Hung Ko. So would be a fun fight regardless, though. I think this should be the next fight. So make Jacoby Smith versus Suk Hung Ko. Then for I didn't make a fight for Josiah Hero. I don't care about that guy. Moving on, Michelle Pereira. You know, Michelle Pereira, you know, fluked a couple eye pokes, fluked a couple groin strikes, was able to rob Zachary Reese in one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. So I'm just gonna do a really goofy middleweight fight that's just low level. I say we do Michelle Pereira versus Ruzabov. I mean, neither of these dudes are gonna be shooting takedowns. They're both just gonna be swinging big hooks, probably gassing out. I don't know. Ruzabov has pretty good cardio, but honestly, I just kind of want to see Michelle Pereira slimed. So make this fight. I think this would be really fun. You know, Michelle Pereira just for the first 2 minutes of the fight looks amazing, throwing bombing overhands. Ruzabov is a super powerful, super good, really good striker. Honestly, his grappling kind of has something to be offered, but his striking game is pretty nice. So I say make this fight. Then for Zachary Reese, yeah, bro, you're banned from the parlay because you absolutely just sold here, man. You're making it this close, and Michelle Pereira should be legal. Like I thought you would, but I shouldn't be having to argue you winning over Michelle Pereira. So I'm getting you slime, buddy. You're fighting Cameron Austin next. I think Cameron Austin needs a bit of a step up. You know, 2-0 in the UFC, beat Andre Petrosky and Cody Brundage. Oh, brother. So I think he gets a bit of a step up against, you know, a mid-tier, unranked middleweight Zachary Reese. Builds up the name of Cameron Austin. You know, this will be a fun fight, too. Both these guys come to scrap, so make this. Then for Carlos Leal, had a pretty sick fight against Chitty and Chicani. It was like a phone booth, just two dudes throwing big meaty hooks at it. Or it was Carlos Leal throwing big meaty hooks, and then Chitty and Chicani working off the back foot, throwing knees, throwing all this leg kicks, all kinds of nice stuff. So I think a really fun fight for Carlos Leal would be versus what's his name, Mixtebek Orbai. I believe Mixtebek Orbai has a fight booked against Chris Curtis soon. He'll probably smoke Chris Curtis, and then I think after that he should fight Carlos Leal. I think this would be a good fight to test Orbai really, see how good he is. Fight this super dangerous guy in Leal who will just eat your shots and keep on walking you down. Uh, to, who has pretty good takedown defense they showed in the Ridinoff fight. So I actually think this would be a really fun fight. In terms of who I would lean to win, I might lean honestly Carlos Leal because both these guys are like Marauder maxers, but I feel like Carlos Leal is probably the better Marauder and is the better striker, and I feel like what's his name? What's this guy's name? Mitsubek Orabai would just not be able to take him down. So I'd lean Carlos Leal. Then for Chitty and Jacani, man, you kind of got smoked dunk. I thought you got 30-27, but that's just me. So I think for Chitty and Jacani, I know what the UFC is gonna do here. They're gonna feed him to a prospect. It's also be a sick fight too. I say make him versus Islam dual top. I mean, just look at the pure physique on these two, bro. Like, tell me this fight. This is like a Terminator off. So, I say make this fight. This would be pretty sick. Then for the next prelim fight, I want to discuss Jordan Levitt. What is this picture, bro? Bro's looking at me like I did something to him. Yeah, I don't know. Jordan Levitt fluked to win over Yadir DeVille. Pretty sure Yadir DeVille was selling on purpose. So, I think for Jordan Levitt, just make a fun scrambly grappling matchup with Conor Lee. I think both these guys would just try to control each other in the wrestling, but it could be fun. I don't think either of these guys would have too much success in the wrestling against each other, and it might just cancel out into a fun striking fight. So I say make this. What else do I gotta talk about? Oh yeah, Alden Corey. I was really impressed with this dude. He's kind of like Joshua Van 2.0, just a little more smart, a little more tactical. Fought a very smart fight against Louis Skrull, just beat him at all sectors: MMA, wrestling, striking, jiu-jitsu. Like he legit just beat him at everything. So I think he should fight another guy that was on this card, Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne coming off a couple losses to Steve Erceg and Olivia Adiris, but still a fun, dangerous fighter. I think it's a step up from Correa, from these guys that are 0-2 in the UFC, like Gruel and Alexandro Costa. So I say we do Correa versus Ode Osborne. It's be a fun fight at flyweight. Make this. And then for JPL, Jean Paul Lebenziani had a pretty good performance against Phil Rowe. I thought he won every round against him. I mean, third round was close, but he looked really good in the striking, grappling. He was really aggressive, landing ground and pound, looking for chokes. Like, I actually really liked how he fought here. So I think for him, he should get an unk just get an unranked unk at welterweight. Get him a Santiago Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio coming off KO loss to D-Rod, getting to fight down a bit. So I say do this fight. This would be fun. Jean Paul would obviously probably win, but it's a good way to build his name. So make this fight. And then next up, or actually that's it. So, anyways, I hope y'all liked my video today. Pretty decent card yesterday. I mean, prelims were boring as dirt, but luckily the main card clutched up and was entertaining. So, anyways, I'll catch y'all in the next couple days. I got some stuff planned for this UFC Noche fight week. Even though the card is buns, I'll find something to make videos about. So, anyways, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.